Hello, welcome. Aini Living Conversations, the 216th session that we get together with Blue Hair and Woman in Indianola. Is that in your name? It says Blue Hair and Woman, and it says IN. Is that Indianola?
I don't know where that IN came from.
Oh, you probably want to erase that. So it just shows the Blue Hair and Woman.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm Julian Katari, and we're doing today a conversation about the life marriage license. And we're gonna deconstruct that word has been popping up in a lot of places. Deconstruct. I even saw on a dating profile some girl saying, "I want a deconstructed man." Man, that can be taken. Okay, like how deconstructed can you be?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
It's like completely deconstructed. That'd be. You want a broken up man?
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
What
so this is going
exactly?
to touch probably on many of those things, but especially on the fact of the institution, of maybe the legal side of the institution, and how that
The dark truth of
is going
license.
to hinder true love and true freedom. So welcome everyone to this conversation.
Yeah.
Oh man, that cat is wanting to marry you.
Yeah. uh, so, for most of early history, marriage had nothing to do with priests, churches, the state, and ceremonies. For centuries, weddings were private agreements between families, communities, and individuals. Two people consented. Weddings were, and the family and community witnessed it, and life moved on. No blessing was required. No paperwork stamped by a religious or state authority. No claim that this is what it took for heaven to approve of the union. Marriage was a social and practical arrangement, as well as a love and companionship arrangement. And if you wanted to walk out of it, you could. No problems.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a divine contract that bound you till death do us part. So this then should tell us that neither the church nor the state created marriage. When did that change and why? Well, as society became civilized, families accumulated land, homes, livestock, wealth, right? And suddenly, so marriage wasn't about love and companionship anymore. It was the gateway to inheritance. Whoever then controlled marriage controlled bloodlines, legitimacy, and the future distribution of property. Marriage licenses were first introduced by the Church of England in 1100 CE. And at that point, marriage pretty much stopped being a personal bond and turned into a strategic target. Marriage was slowly reframed from being a sacred human agreement between individuals to being a sacred act that only a religious institution could validate. And then much later, the state was added. So this wasn't about holiness, it was about authority.
Mm-hmm.
If marriage could be declared divine only through the church, then it could also be regulated, invalidated, and rewritten. It was the Council of Trent then in 1545, again, the Catholic Church, between 1545 and 1563, the Council of Trent ruled that determined marriage was to be conducted before the parish priest or with a license by a non-ordained Roman Catholic priest in front of witnesses. So from that moment on, love became conditional. It wasn't conditional on commitment. It wasn't conditional on love. It was conditional on compliance. And the church didn't need armies to seize land. It didn't need violence. It only needed to decide which marriages counted and which didn't. So then marriage was rebranded as sacred only through the church when controlling marriage became profitable. And once an institution claims ownership over love, it also claims ownership over families, over the future and fear. So by declaring marriage sacred, only if it's performed in a church by a priest or a pastor, the church did not elevate love, it monopolized and monetized legitimacy. Children born from a marriage not licensed by the church could be labeled illegitimate, meaning no inheritance, no lineage, no nothing. Control marriage and you control heirs, and then you control wealth without touching a sword. And I know being raised as religious as I was, being illegitimate was, being a bastard. Yeah. Being illegitimate was just, oh my God. Being born out of wedlock was like the worst thing that you could possibly do.
Man.
And I never once questioned it. So suddenly a priest's or a pastor's presence became a difference between a child being recognized or erased on paper. Families were told marriage was about morality and God's will, but when a marriage could be ruled invalid, then estates didn't simply vanish, they entered disputes, a limbo space where first ecclesiastical authority and then later the state authority thrived. State licensing in the United States began to keep Black people and white people from marrying. It's that simple. Eventually, then, states decided to put marriage under statutory or civil law, and the two outcomes of this are revenue streams and the system of control. So August 1909 saw the National Conference of Commissioners on Uniform State Laws meeting in Detroit, where they decided to form an act, not a law, an act. This is what we have to remember about everything. It's an act. It's a statute. It's not... right? Because it's all bogus, that would relate to and regulate marriage and marriage licenses. They wanted it to abolish common law marriages and make the issuance of a license an absolute prerequisite. November 1911 was when this was finally adopted and was circulated for submissions to various state legislatures. It's amazing that this is the same time that 6 unknown men boarded a train car for a totally blacked out train car for Jekyll Island to set up the Federal Reserve private banking system that was based totally on debt, slavery, and licenses. So the entire Marriage License Act was adopted by all 50 states in 1929. That's the same time they decided to crash the stock market. Really, yes, it's all related. I haven't been able to go any deeper on this to find out exactly how, but it is related. So the development of the marriage license was a means of generating substantial income for the state. And not only does a state make money when the couple desires to marry by issuing the license, if the couple then desires to divorce, they must go to court to seek the solution of the marriage. So that means they pay court fees and they pay attorney fees and they pay filing fees and they pay this and they pay that. It's all a big money pot. Now there's a term. It's parens patriae. Is a term that's not common in our culture today, but the idea has existed for hundreds of years and kind of governed everything on down low. Black's Law Dictionary defines parens patriae as the state is regarded sovereign in its capacity as provider of protection to those unable to take care of themselves. And number 2, it's a doctrine by which the government has standing to prosecute a lawsuit on behalf of a citizen, especially on behalf of someone that might be under legal disability. In the United States, the parens patriae doctrine has had its greatest application in the treatment of children, mentally ill persons, and other individuals who are legally incompetent to manage their affairs. Now, I have a friend who going through he's a veteran going through PTSD, and he had to fight royally they wanted to give him 100% disability only if they could claim him legally incompetent. So therefore, the VA would manage his money for him, and he's not incompetent. So we have to. It's time for us to stop hiding behind these terms, right? Legally incompetent to manage their affairs. So with this decision, the state has become the supreme guardian of all children. So the state, through licensing, is letting people voluntarily self-identify with one of three categories. You're a child, you're mentally ill, or you're legally incompetent. So every time we purchase a marriage, not just a marriage, any kind of a license, we're telling them we're one of those three categories. But whatever one a person chooses, it doesn't matter, because the state will manage whomever's marital affairs as the occasion arises. So married couples who sign a marriage license are in fact giving control of their lives to the state, as if they are one of the three that we just talked about, as if they're children, as if they're mentally ill, or as if they're legally incompetent. Somehow we have been convinced that there are benefits for signing up for the state marriage license, and so we've been defrauded by the state. And let's go back to Black's Law Dictionary for the definition of a license. Number one is it's a personal privilege to do some act or series of acts on land without possessing any estate or interest therein, and is ordinarily revocable at the will of the licensor. So by that definition, the state can pull the license anytime they want.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Your marriage can be taken away.
Yes. Yeah. So then number two is the permission by competent authority to do an act with which without such permission would be illegal. So when did it become illegal to want to live with somebody? I mean, really? And the last definition is a license is a permit to be under police power.
Wow. Don't we love that?
Yeah.
To be policed. Yeah.
To be under police power. And then it's the certificate or document evidencing all these permissions. So, yeah. So by signing a marriage license, we're giving the licensor, the state, the ability to commit a series of acts on our land without anything, right? Mm-hmm. They don't have to, right? Or they can revoke it, and we place ourselves under police power every time. And it's not just marriage licenses, it's whatever we gain licenses for. Mm-hmm. So by signing a state marriage license, couples are agreeing that for an adult man and an adult woman from different families to be married is illegal without permission of the state. Why do we believe it's wrong? Why, without being legitimized by the state? Why? What? Where? What? Why do we want to let the state in our lives that much? Why agree that we are committing a crime by being together without a license? Mm-hmm. That's what it boils. That's the word I was looking for. Those 6 men that traveled to Jekyll Island to create the debt criminal system we live under. Because without a license, you're a criminal in every way, shape, and form. Mm-hmm. Which is being very evidenced by our current president, who's seeking to imprison every fucking body. The state of Illinois says when 2 people decide to get married, they are required to first procure a license from the state. And if they have children of this marriage, they are required by the state to submit their children to certain things, such as school attendance and vaccinations. Marriage is a 3-party contract between the man, woman, and the state. Mm-hmm. How many of us ever explored this before we ever obtained a marriage license?
We just
I will
know.
Right? And so, yet a ruling of the Supreme Court in 1877 made it illegal for any state to require a marriage license. So states are actually committing a fraud, and we participate. We allow them. We gladly hand over give them the ability to perpetrate fraud on us every time we apply for a marriage license, for one thing. Basically, so we won't. And so this could be called an adhesion contract, and we have many forms of adhesion contracts in our system. What is an adhesion contract? Well, per Black's Law Dictionary, it's a standard contract prepared by one party to be signed by the party in a weaker position. A consumer who has little choice about the terms. I mean, it's all blatantly there. We all need to purchase a Black's Law Dictionary and look up everything before we even begin to want to do anything with this fictitious, stupid government bullshit system that's been put on us worldwide. Because it's all, I mean, look at that. We're a consumer who has a little choice about the terms. So some examples of adhesion contracts in our system are driver's licenses, social security numbers, birth certificates, cell phone contracts, cable TV contracts, and so on. Anything, pretty much anything that we're signing a contract for is an adhesion contract, which makes the state see us as the weaker part that has no say in anything. So we just give ourselves our away just for the sake of having a cell phone or having a marriage license. When we start looking at this, it's just like, wow. Okay, so the reason any license throughout history has been instituted was so that power of denial could exist. Right. With the marriage locked under institutional control, the next truth about divorce being immoral came next. And yes, I was the first person in my family to get a divorce, and that was just the end of the world.
For your family members?
Yeah, because of the religion I was raised in. Yeah. Yeah. So, and then celibacy for priests also wasn't about purity. It was about containment, because any property they acquire then automatically becomes the church's. So keep property and money flowing upward and keep individuals too constrained to challenge the structure. And the system needed something stronger than law to maintain obedience, and that was fear. Fear of eternal consequences perpetrated by the church. Hell became the ultimate enforcement tool, and guilt became a permanent condition.
Interesting.
When fear replaces reason, control becomes effortless. Physical chains are not needed when the mind is in prison. So when we come to understand, as Baruch Spinoza did, that God and nature are the same, that there is no white male, two-legged being in the sky coming to take us home to heaven, then we know that no institution can claim exclusive access to the divine. And we know that two people deciding to cohabitate or marry is a natural right and doesn't need anybody to bless it or any licensing or anything.
Okay, yeah. So is this making clearly making a distinction between the state marriage and some type of sacral marriage, and you haven't touched that yet.
No, we're talking about the sacred, the institutionalized marriage. Yeah. We can. I mean, I'm not going to address the other. I wanted to address this myth of the sacred, right? That it has to be done in a church and it has to be with a marriage license. because we can make a sacred marriage ceremony anywhere we want. It's everything. It is sacred, but they took it from being sacred anywhere, everywhere, and anywhere. Basically, the same thing they did with pulling spirit out of everything, right? And said, no, it's sacred only if you do it in front of a priest in a church or a pastor in a church, in a white gown with a veil and with this, No, it's time to. So by turning marriage first into a religious checkpoint and then a state checkpoint, the institution inserted itself into the most intimate parts of human life. And once our ancestors accepted that logic, we have accepted that our happiness needs permission from the church and from the state. And it doesn't. Doesn't.
Needs permission from ourselves. That's it.
Yes, that's the only, So we see in our more than human life world that every being has a natural drive to exist, to protect itself and seek what increases its power to life. And when we look at marriage through this lens, the problem becomes obvious. The system that forces you to remain in a relationship that destroys you is not preserving life. It's actually undermining it. Because we're talking, right? We're going to the abusive side, but so any doctrine that demands that you suppress your nature, your safety, and your dignity in exchange for approval is acting against the most basic law of existence. Institutions that block these drives turn themselves into enemies of human freedom. So marriage stopped being a space for love and mutual growth and became a test of obedience. The structure has never disappeared. It simply adapted. The language has softened, but the message has never softened.
That's incredible, yeah.
And the message is that your love needs validation. Your exit from a relationship has a cost. It can be revoked. Illegitimate children are bad, right? If you don't have a license stating you're illegitimate, somebody's son and daughter, you're illegitimate and therefore have no foundation in life. That's all. And so then your conscience and your life aren't yours.
Yeah.
So it's once again time for us to once again make marriage a space for love and mutual growth. And always ask ourselves, does this relationship increase my capacity for love, or is it slowly killing me? And not have to serve the state. And this is short. I knew it was going to be short. I just couldn't get to anything else with the weather conditions this week.
Well, it's very true and very, very important to know. And it might be very relevant for a lot of people, because even to me, where for example, already my parents, they never really expected. Both my parents were very already kind of past that. The idea if I do that, if whatever I choose, it's okay. So I was free from that. But when I was together with Maida, I remember getting into conversations at some point where she was would bring up the conversation that she wanted us to, if we were, like, as soon as she found out that I had absolutely no intention to marry her with the state, right, to get this legal recognition, to go and sign up for that stuff. And then she knew already, because of natural law. She's seen that I teach natural law, and she supposedly took that course. She should have understood that, but she didn't when she actually did expect me. And she brought up this thought, which is it's like it's when you have this feeling that somebody is telling you something, is lying to you, right? It's not really true, but she would like accuse me of being a liar because I was, and I was very clear. I mean, I was, let's see where this goes, and if it comes up to, we can have a ceremony and kind of get
Yeah,
get
no.
sacredly together. But it's still, for that I was wanting for things to come together, for that to be not an urgency, right? But to
Yeah.
her was like, oh no, my mom, and she would sometimes, this thought would come up in her head where she would think, you don't want to marry me but with the state, because that's you would get that would get you, that's the responsibility you're trying to avoid,
Yeah. Right.
something like that. You don't want to get engaged with me, so she would take it
Because
personally.
you're not legally committing. I
Yeah,
get that.
that's the word I was looking for.
I
um
understand that thought train. That's there. That's in
yeah,
everybody, right?
yeah, that's that.
That's
And that played
yeah.
a big role in us, like she not being able to really break free from that train of thought, or whatever, that submission
That
thing,
prison.
and accepting me, the fact that I am not in that, I don't want to be in that, or if I am, I want to be out of that.
Well, so I like to go back to 2 years ago. We ventured into the Goddess Bible that came from a dig in the
Hmm.
somewhere, right? We talked about all this and their belief in the great Namu who pleasured herself to bring us into being. And what was the one thing that stands out specifically for me, that the great Namu told the Canaanites, I forget what, but try it for 1 year.
Hmm.
Give yourselves 1 year and then renew it every year if you need to, or go your separate ways. There was
Hmm.
nothing about this till death do us freaking part bullshit.
Yeah.
And I like that. I really like that. Try it for a year and then you talk to each other.
Hmm. And that was like the Sirvinyaku of the Andeans, to get together and try it out for a year. That did exist with the Andeans.
Oh, well, see, there we go. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, and then you just continue. If you're happy in a year, then a year from now you say, well, here's the question. Did this relationship increase our capacity for love, or are we slowly killing each other?
Mm. Yeah. And can I dare to say that maybe sometimes we're so married to the system without knowing, that we
Yeah,
throw
you better dare to say that.
the love away, we throw the life away,
To be
because
married to the system.
of course we have to. It's not like, oh, I'm married and I love it. No, you have to do the work of unmarrying it, and that's the thing that nobody wants to do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we seem to think that getting that marriage license is the significance of woohoo.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's become a big, huge thing. I mean, every wedding photographer takes pictures of the couple signing the marriage license.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing to this if you're not signing this piece of paper. So if we need to issue pieces of paper to make people feel safe while divorcing from the system, we'll do that. But it doesn't have to be. And the Supreme Court even said that in 1877, well over 100 years ago.
Wow.
You know, so that's where I stand. That's where with Udalville's where we stand. We want to get married. You really need a certificate? We'll create certificates,
Yeah.
right? That the two of you can sign.
Hmm.
And we'll make them valid for only a year. You come back in a year and redo it if you want to redo it.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it's time for us to freaking divorce the system.
Mm-hmm.
And understand that anytime, let's say this again, anytime we apply for a license, we're willingly putting ourselves under police law.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay. So, yeah. So,
And
what?
anytime we think we need a license, we're saying we're a criminal to do something without it.
That's
Why do we want to make ourselves criminal in every way, shape, and form?
That's something that should resonate. That should be said and heard once and twice and many times.
Yes.
When you are willing to be policed, you are willing to, you consider yourself already a criminal.
Criminal, exactly.
And we have that so naturalized. If you ask somebody, if they, what if police disappeared, and wouldn't that be a good thing? And most people, serious people, would say, no, no, no. Who's going to control us? So everybody thinks of the others as criminals, just inherently.
Yeah, yeah.
They're not going to be. If it wasn't because of police, all my neighbors would be criminals.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Something like that. It's kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot to.
That's a big rabbit hole we just opened tonight, right? That can sit there and circulate because, if we think about that, right? I'd be happy to not see police cars go by ever again. Mm-hmm. I've had enough dealings with police to know that I'd be happy. There's no need. Yep. Especially after this last week in Minneapolis. There's just no need.
That's breaking it. That story is really, I mean, it's almost like a necessary thing, like society, that the world needed to come to that, to really question themselves about the police state and the system. Yeah. Is it working, or what is it here to do?
Yeah, I mean, so that's a question. You're right, Julian. You're totally in the asking the proper questions of breaking out of the system, of breaking out of the prison. Is why do we really need police? Do you really think you can't govern yourself?
Mm-hmm. And do you really think that the other person is not hurting you because there's a police to stop them? Like if everybody was just
right.
We needed the police because the inherent state of humankind or of humans is being bad and being criminals.
That goes back to the church and teaching us that. That goes back to the Council of Augustine, I think it was in 400, where the church decided that that the original sin, the concept of original sin, because Adam took the apple from Eve, we're all bad. We're all sinners.
We're all bad. Right, yeah.
So because we're sinners, we need police.
Yeah.
What makes the police not sinners then? I mean, seriously. Yeah. They shot Alex Preddy in cold blood.
Yeah.
Gangster-style shooting.
And I mean, is anybody here ever had a peaceful interaction with a police officer? Maybe except when they were calling on the police, and even then, maybe. But have you ever gotten pulled over and where you like just felt safe by the police? No, I don't think a lot of people can answer positively to that.
No, never.
So we're touching a lot of sore spots, and we're going to continue doing that. And what are we going to touch on next week?
Well, we're going to. This is going to be huge. We're going to delve into the I Ching and the genetic code and minerals in the genetic code.
Okay.
Which makes pharmaceuticals absolutely unnecessary.
Okay.
But yeah, we're going to bring all those. We're going to go down that. I've discovered a whole, like I told you, with this other author, and our what does he call it? I forget. I've discovered a whole new rabbit hole of amazingness to go down to, that helps us understand that we are inherently.
That has to do with the I Ching. It has to do with
We're
trying to connect that.
Yeah, minerals, rare minerals, adequate diet. I mean, and how the I Ching absolutely guides us. How it's the spark. It's and more. We're just going to go into the whole of the orgone energy, which is just a little piece of. I mean, we're going to understand this supreme being that is orgone energy. That is the ancient oracle that issues the pattern of life through the messenger RNA through the woman.
Okay.
We have to understand that the young female embryo developing is already, the egg is already gathering the messenger RNA, which is where the I Ching is encoded.
Okay. So we're going to untangle a little bit of that, and
we're going to mix them all. We're going to show how they are absolutely intertwined.
Alrighty. So coming up next week.
So that we know we can live without police control. We can live without licenses and needing to place ourselves under police law.
And we can live without modern doctors too.
Exactly.
And tomorrow is going to be a little bit of information that's going to help you understand that.
Yeah. Before we sign off, let me say this on the air. Prozac is a fluorine-based medication. Fluorine is one of the most neurotoxic things. Every single school shooter was on a version of Prozac.
Okay, that makes sense. And it makes sense why they put that in the water and in toothpaste and everywhere.
Yes.
And I mean, if they can if they can numb the pineal gland, if it makes it calcify, if that's true, and the pineal gland connects us to the greater cosmos, and that can disconnect us from that through.
Yeah.
It feels good, probably. It's probably it does probably have an antidepressant state because it's making you insensible to the world.
The people on Prozac, the highest rate of suicides comes from people on Prozac.
Okay. I don't even know exactly.
Prozac is an antidepressant. What?
It's an antidepressant?
It's labeled as an antidepressant, but they know that it has the highest rate of suicide.
Okay. Yeah, well.
That's why the Columbine school shooters, they were on they were on a fluorine-based drug.
Yeah.
There is nothing, prednisone wastes away skeletons. It wastes away your bones. Corticosteroids wastes away your bones. Makes you a sack of nothing. No bones, no bony structure, nothing. Prozac is fluorine based. We know that fluorine is a neurotoxin. It's the most mind control. So basically, yes, we need to.
So that's the rabbit hole I was going to point out. It's probably some type of experimental mind control thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. because there's a specific part. It's that this hasn't even touched on the pineal gland. Let's just get off the pineal gland. There's a spot in the back of our brain that holds our willpower, and fluorine destroys that. So we have no will left anymore.
Okay. So willpower there's a chemical of willpower.
Yeah, there is.
Okay. Are we gonna
and
know about it on the
prednisone
next
shuts.
one?
We may not get that specific. We're going to start down this
Okay.
big huge rabbit hole with the DNA and the I Ching and the minerals. I mean, the prednisone shuts down 200 amino acid pathways.
Okay.
It's
shocking.
Yes. I was just most horrified when I found out today that Prozac is a fluorine-based medication.
Hmm.
And it's the second best thing to, I mean, every fucking buddy except you and me are, and my daughter are on Prozac.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, that's an overstatement, but yeah, I mean. So we went from MK Ultra of hiding it to just putting people on a fluorine-based medication when we knew that's how Hitler kept all the prisoners in concentration camps docile.
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to with the beyond the pineal gland or not. I was.
You kill that spot in the brain that has to.
It's a way to dumb people down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To make them docile and not aware and sensitive and smart about where they're at.
Yeah.
Okay, so lots to see. So you just got to be patient with us, and we're going to touch all that stuff that needs to be touched on. And and we invite you for next week, and we invite you to join the Aloha Aini Dao Living project, the Owl Council Houses, if you want to join the training program and become a warrior, become
a good life, happiness warrior, a pleasure-focused warrior.
You can do that by visiting alohainidaoliving.com. You'll find the link to the website everywhere, and please support us with a like and a share and a subscription if you can, please. Otherwise, you can see that we're not that popular because we're not in the mood of the system. The algorithm doesn't like us.
Yeah. So next week will be the I Ching, minerals, and the genetic code.
Okay.
Which is the hidden key to life.
Okay.
Or the hidden key of life. The hidden keys of life.
That's a great title. Yeah. Alrighty. So we'll see each other next week then. Thank you for being here, and waterfalls of blessings, everyone.